Trump team and the latest James Mattis for Defense Secretary. Tell us about him, Jeff.
Known as Mad Dog, President-elect Trump decided last night during his rally to say secretly, just to the crowd.
Secretly. Don't
He said,
tell anybody.
Keep it amongst us, even though this is being broadcast on many networks, that this is who my choice is for Defense Secretary. This is someone with a background on the battlefield in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's a signal that a President Trump will move away from President Obama's sort of reliance on allies to check aggression by Russia and Europe, to check aggression by China and Asia. Also choosing somebody who is very hawkish on Iran.
Which is what got him fired from the Obama administration.
What stood out to me in looking into James Mattis yesterday was he came out, and this is something worth reading, just in the last couple of months, he co-authored something called A Blueprint for American Security. And if you read that, some of the standout quotes from that is say, we must be capable of placing our security above other things we value, understanding that in the absence of security, all else is moot. We must be willing to work with imperfect allies. Now, at the same time, this is a man who calls for ethical military values, but he's saying something that Donald Trump has said before, which is we will work with imperfect allies and security above all else. Sort of almost an ends justifies the military strategy.
Doesn't he also disagree with torture?
He does, and Mattis has an interesting history. We mentioned the fact that he was relieved of his duties early because of his public opposition to the deal with Iran. He's a hardliner on Iran itself, and yet he is somebody who had been close to the sort of military establishment. Notable, I think, that Donald Trump spent part of the campaign talking about how much more he knew than the generals. Now he has picked a general to run the Pentagon and a retired general to be his national security advisor. And there is another general in the mix, former general, retired General David Petraeus, who is in the mix for Secretary of State. It's important to note, too, that Mattis would require a waiver to become Defense Secretary. Congress passed a law in 1947 that required essentially a cooling off period once you retire from the military. It was initially 10 years. That was amended to 7 years back in 2008. Mattis has not been retired for 7 years. He retired in 2013. So before he is confirmed as Secretary of Defense, Congress will need to pass a separate waiver. Some folks have brought up opposition to such a waiver because of our tradition of civilian control of the military. Senator Kristen Gillibrand, who's a senior member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, a Democrat from New York, tweeted last night that she would not favor a waiver.